Yep, the recording started.
All right. All right. Welcome to our present meeting. This is on scenario 220 business presentation meeting. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'm Matt.
I'm Kanaya.
And I'm Cooper.
All right. All right. So starting off, we have our previous years.
So when we take a look at the previous years, if you want to pop the next slide,
Yep.
it looks as though Alley Cat is our biggest selling ale at 45% actually, with Edgar at 28 and Taj Mahal at 27. So if you look at the next slide here, the graph indicates that over the summer months, like late spring, early to midsummer, Alley Cat is like the highest selling ale. It's the most sought after, so we have to produce a lot more of that. And then with Edgar and Taj Mahal, they kind of just have like a steady flow through the year. I mean, they're kind of close together in sales, but you still have to produce a decent amount just to keep up with it. Even during like the late year, um, there's a nice spike from July to October for Edgar, and Taj Mahal stays like around 7,000, 7,500 for a while through the summer and then into the fall. And then you can just pop next one.
Yep.
So in general, our total quantity sold per month, again, thanks to Alley Cat, April, May, June, July, those are going to be the highest selling months. So those are going to be the months that need to have a high production in order to keep up with the demand that was necessary.
All right. All right. Next
And
up, we have.
then we talk. Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. So now we're gonna talk about what's supposed to happen. You can go to the next one. So, if we're gonna start with Taj Mahal for what's supposed to happen for there, so the original price is that usually sell for it's $17.50. So for January we started with $16.50, and then for February it's 17. Now as it goes down, it slowly increases by 17.20 through, and then you go to May it's 17.50, and then all the way through August increase by 17.60. So for times we slowly increase it, so we it'll be we'll be able to make profit off of it. Because if you look for production too, because that also plays a part, we start off for 4,000 for January and February, and then we decrease it by 1,000 all the way until August, and then we slowly increased it again by 500, and then we slowly increased it again by another 500 in September, and then for the remaining months we just kept that 4,000, and then the estimate profit from it would be 315,662. And then for Alley Cat, the original price for that one it's $15.50. Now for that we started with 17 all the way until June. Then we decreased it by $1 because that's where we'll start to sell more. So if we decrease it, more people would buy it, and then increase it during July because it sells the most during that month, and then all the way until October, because since it's mostly a beer, a lot of people don't buy it during the winter, so we'll increase the price so more people would buy it, and it'll be 16 through the rest of the months, October, November, December. Now for the production, we started with 5,000 until April, until April, and then we increased it by 1,000 all the way until August because that's where it sells the most. So we will produce the most during those months, and then so August will start decreasing by 500, and then September and October we decrease it to 3,000, and then November, December to 2,000 because it's really not a winter beer, so we decreased the production for it, but it will still sell around those months. Then the estimate profit for it would be $351,325. Then go to the next one. And then for Edgar, we started with $14.50 and we kept it at that price until April. We decreased it by 30 cents, so $14.20, and we kept that at $14.20 until December, and we decreased it by 20 cents. So for production, we started off with an estimate of 1,983, and then over time through March we increased it to over 2,000, and then April through July we kept it around 4,000, and then August we increased it up to over 5,000, and then September and October we increased it to over 6,000, and then once November, December hit, we started to slowly decrease by over 2,000, and then the estimate profit for that one would have been $1,809,723. So for our EBT, our estimate EBT for what was supposed to happen would be $216,558. For our fermenters, that also plays a part because for January, February, and March, we'll have estimate. It will be for fermenters, but once it hits April, we increased it. We added extra fermenters, so we were able to produce a lot more, and then increase our production. And then once it hit November, remove the fermenter to 4. Then
All right.
next slide.
All right, next up we have what actually happened. So first off, our EBT, we were Team 10. We came in 9th, but everyone did really well this run. We also did very well, coming out with 262,000, which compared to our EBT of our estimate was significantly more. So we did pretty good considering we made an extra 50,000. So for our quantity sold, surprisingly, Alley Cat dropped significantly, and Taj increased, and so did Edgar from our previous years. So for the most part, everything became well rounded out. And as you can see with our production, once again, through the summer months, Alley Cat was a massive seller, and Taj and Edgar, we for the most part was on an upward slope. You could see a huge drop in quantity. We had a bunch of sales in that October for Taj, and then after that, pretty much everything was going up around November. And then our quantity sold per month. Surprisingly, December was our most not profitable, but we sold the most. That could have been the most wrong. The summer times were still spring to summer was still fairly big just because Alley Cat was constantly selling out through then. But a major thing we changed, or well, I guess why was there a difference? It was the pricings. We nonstop kept changing our prices depending on our quantity. Comparing it to the from our estimates, none of our pricings were accurate. We only changed the pricings on seasonal changes. So in the summer, Alley Cat went up huge. But if we were really low on something, which happened throughout the year, we would constantly bring up the price and then drop that down once we would have our inventory back up. So, any of you guys have anything else to say for the difference?
No, I think that covered pretty much all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the fifth fermenter really helped us to just prevent any lost sales. We were really able to, especially during the summer months, after that fifth fermenter was put into action, we really were able to stay pretty positive throughout the entire year. And what can we learn from this?
The more we keep on producing, which will keep our fermenters running, the more we make a profit. So as long as we keep producing in our which will keep the fermenters running, because if one of our fermenters stop, we will lose sales. So that's one of the main things that we can learn is to keep production going.
Yeah, I also feel like we did already learn a lot. I mean, especially the numbers we got from this trial run, 262,000 compared to the 218 from the sheet that we did, and actually doing the run and then getting more than we exceeded. So I feel like we've learned a lot already as a group. So,
and I could say I learned, just the value of pricing. Value of changing pricing. You could keep your inventory depending on how drastically you could change the price, but that did help us so we could maximize sales.
I think it's the biggest piece of information we've learned. It's definitely crucial to keeping inventory rather than running out completely.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add on to this, or?
I thought it was good.
All right. All right. Well, if that's it, then I guess that's it.
All right. You can end the recording.
Yep.